I was tricked into dancing with a one-legged girl, she said. I've never been this happy before. Yet here he was, standing at the edge of a massive, glowing plaza in the heart of the new Avalon spaceport, watching crowds move rhythmically under the flickering holographic lights. Music flowed in waves, a mix of electronic beats and old Earth classics, and the air smelled faintly of fried alien snacks and sweet pastries. He tugged at the collar of his jacket and shifted his weight from one foot to the other. "Why did I agree to come here?" he muttered under his breath. His friend and pilot partner Jenna had insisted. "It's about visibility, Alex. You want that contract. Get noticed. People like watching humans in action, humans with courage, humans with heart." Alex snorted. "I'm a pilot, not a performer." Jenna shrugged, her sharp eyes glinting with amusement. "Trust me, you'll thank me later." Alex wasn't so sure. He scanned the plaza, noting the crowd that had gathered around a holographic dance arena floating just above the plaza floor. The arena projected bright beams of light, creating patterns that twisted and curved in time with the music. Holographic screens displayed the names of competitors and the dances they were performing, and the plaza buzzed with excitement. People were cheering, waving, and tossing small tokens of light into the air, an old tradition from Earth that had carried over into this colony. He was about to turn away when he noticed a small figure weaving through the crowd toward him. She moved with purpose, yet there was a lightness in her steps, a confidence that seemed to draw people in. She wore a simple outfit, a snug jacket, comfortable pants, and boots designed for agility. But it wasn't her clothing that caught Alex's attention, it was her smile. Bright, fearless, and infectious. "Hey, you," she called, her voice cutting through the music. She pointed at him. "I bet you can't keep up with me on that dance floor." Alex blinked. "Excuse me." "I said," she repeated, hopping lightly on one foot, "I bet you can't dance with me. Not really. Not for long. Come on, prove me wrong." He laughed a little awkwardly. "And why would I do that?" "Because," she said, grinning mischievously, "it's more fun than standing around looking bored. Plus, I have a feeling you need to learn something about humans today." Alex tilted his head, curiosity piqued despite himself. There was something about the way she spoke, the way she carried herself. Bold, unapologetic, unafraid. He felt a strange pull, a mix of challenge and intrigue. "All right," he said, shrugging. "But don't say I didn't warn you. I'm not exactly graceful." The girl laughed, a sound that echoed with genuine joy. "Neither am I, but that's the point." She led him to the edge of the dance arena. The crowd parted slightly as they approached, and a few spectators nudged each other, whispering. Alex noticed the glint of anticipation in their eyes. He suddenly realized that this wasn't just a casual challenge. It was part of the festival's main event, an unofficial dance duel where anyone could participate, and the crowd decided the winners. "Step in," she said, gesturing toward the holographic floor. As soon as they entered, the lights beneath their feet pulsed, illuminating the patterns in sync with the music. Anti-gravity tiles activated briefly, giving their steps a subtle lift, making the dance feel almost like floating. Alex swallowed. This was more than he expected. "First rule," she said, bouncing lightly, "don't try to impress anyone, just move with the music." Alex chuckled nervously. "That's easy enough, I guess." The music shifted, a lively rhythm that made it impossible to stand still. Alex tried a tentative step, then another, mimicking her movements. She was fast, light on her feet, precise in timing, yet there was a fluidity in her motion that made it seem effortless. Alex stumbled a little, adjusting quickly, feeling the floor respond to his weight. "You're not bad," she said, one eyebrow raised. "But can you handle this?" She spun suddenly, her movement sharp but elegant. Alex followed instinctively, surprised at how well he could match her rhythm when he let go of his hesitation. The crowd around them cheered, and for a moment Alex felt a rush he hadn't expected, not just from the music or the movement, but from the connection with someone who seemed to challenge him without trying to compete. Then something caught his eye. her right leg. She had a prosthetic, barely noticeable at first glance, designed to mimic human movement perfectly. But as she twirled and leapt with remarkable precision, Alex realized it wasn't just functional, it was advanced. Human ingenuity in action, blending technology and skill seamlessly. "You have a prosthetic?" he asked, a mixture of surprise and admiration in his voice. She laughed, a little breathless from the movement. "You noticed? Yeah, one leg, but it doesn't slow me down. If anything, it helps me dance better than I could before." Alex couldn't help but smile. Humans really were something else. Even when faced with limitations, they found ways to rise above, to innovate, to turn challenges into strengths. "You're amazing," he admitted honestly, a rare moment of humility. She paused, looking at him with something like gratitude in her eyes. "Thanks. You know, I've never been this happy before. Not really. Dancing, it's the closest I feel to flying without wings." Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. This wasn't just about skill or competition. This was about human spirit, about joy, about seizing moments despite whatever limitations life had thrown at you. The music intensified, faster now, and she extended her hand toward him. "Come on, keep up or fall behind." Alex took her hand, gripping it tightly. He let go of his doubts, his awkwardness, and moved. Step by step, spin by spin, he matched her rhythm, discovering a surprising sense of freedom. The crowd cheered louder, impressed by the unexpected duo. They weren't performing for fame or prizes. They were dancing for the pure thrill of it, and the energy was contagious. As they danced, Alex realized he had underestimated both her and himself. He had assumed this would be awkward, maybe embarrassing. Instead, it was exhilarating. Each move was a small victory, a testament to human courage, resilience, and creativity. By the time the song ended, Alex was breathless, sweat trickling down his forehead. Lyra laughed, holding his hand up in a small victory gesture. "See, not so bad, right?" He shook his head, still catching his breath. "Not bad, that was incredible. I didn't think I could do that." She smiled, warmth in her eyes. Humans surprise themselves all the time. That's the beauty of it. Alex looked around at the cheering crowd, feeling a sense of belonging he hadn't expected. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly part of something bigger, something human, vibrant, and full of possibility. "Guess I'll have to thank Jenna for this," he muttered, more to himself than to her. Lyra nudged him playfully. "Or maybe thank me, but either way, welcome to the dance." And in that moment, amidst the glowing lights, pulsing music, and the warmth of human connection, Alex felt a spark of something new, a recognition that life, much like flying, was about taking chances, embracing challenges, and finding joy in the most unexpected places. The plaza buzzed long after Alex and Lyra finished their first dance. The crowd's energy didn't fade. If anything, it grew stronger. Neon lights flickered above, painting faces in shifting hues of purple, green, and gold. Music pulsed through the air, bouncing off the metal walls of nearby buildings. Alex could still feel the rhythm in his chest, a steady beat that seemed to match the flutter in his heart. "You're smiling," Lyra said, noticing his unusual expression. Alex glanced at her, a faint grin tugging at his lips. "I didn't think I'd enjoy that, but yeah." "That was amazing." She tilted her head, playful yet thoughtful. "Amazing, that's a start, but you haven't seen anything yet. The festival isn't about casual fun, it's about challenges." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Challenges? I thought we were just dancing." Lyra's smile widened. "Oh, it's dancing, but not the kind you're used to. This is a test. A test of timing, adaptability, and, most importantly, courage." "Are you ready for that?" Alex hesitated. He wasn't sure what she meant, but something in her eyes told him he couldn't back out now. He nodded slowly. "All right, I'm in." She clapped her hands once sharply. "Good, follow me." They moved deeper into the plaza, away from casual spectators, toward a section marked by bright, floating holograms. The air shimmered as if alive, the lights forming shifting geometric patterns on the floor. Alex recognized the layout instantly. It was the anti-gravity dance arena, a special attraction that tested movement, balance, and reflexes in unpredictable ways. The arena changes every round, Lyra explained. Gravity shifts, platforms move, obstacles appear. You'll need to adjust faster than you think possible, but don't worry, I'll guide you. Alex swallowed nervously. He had flown through asteroid fields, survived engine failures, and faced hostile environments, but this felt different. It required more than skill. It required trust. Trust in himself and in the person leading him. A voice echoed through the arena's speakers. Next round, human challenge. 2 participants. Dance until the music stops or until someone fails to adapt to the arena. Let's see what you've got. Alex glanced at Lyra. Dance until we fail, she laughed lightly. Don't worry, that's just the rules. Let's focus on having fun and staying alive, sort of. The floor beneath them began to glow brighter, and Alex felt his feet lift slightly as the anti-gravity tiles activated. The music shifted, a faster, more complex rhythm that twisted in unpredictable ways. He had to move quickly, stepping onto tiles that rose and fell, rotating gently. Lyra moved effortlessly, her prosthetic leg absorbing the motion with ease. Alex, however, stumbled slightly. Careful, she called, reaching out her hand. Use your body, not just your feet. Flow with the rhythm. Alex took a deep breath, forcing himself to relax. He adjusted his stance, letting the music guide him rather than thinking too much. Slowly, he found a rhythm that worked, jumping, spinning, and sliding in sync with Lyra. The crowd watching from the edges gasped and cheered. They weren't just watching a dance, they were witnessing humans adapting to extreme conditions with ingenuity and heart. Not bad, Lyra said between spins. But you can do better. Watch the tiles, they move in patterns. Anticipate them, don't react. Alex nodded, eyes sharp. He studied the tiles as they moved. Slowly, he started to predict their behavior, adjusting his steps before the tiles shifted beneath him. Each successful move boosted his confidence. He felt alive in a way that flying a ship never gave him. Here, every decision mattered, every move counted. The music intensified again, faster and more complex. Suddenly, a series of moving platforms appeared midair, forming a floating staircase. Alex froze for a fraction of a second too long. His foot slipped on the first platform. "Grab my hand," Lyra called. Without thinking, Alex reached for her. She steadied him effortlessly, her prosthetic leg giving her balance that felt almost magical. "See. Humans adapt," she said, smiling. "Even under pressure." Alex laughed, a little breathless. "I have to admit that's impressive." Lyra winked. "You're learning." They continued upward, leaping from platform to platform. The arena challenged them further. Rotating panels, rising pillars, sudden gravity shifts that made them feel weightless one second and heavy the next. Yet, despite the obstacles, Alex discovered something remarkable. He was capable of improvisation. He could sense patterns, anticipate changes, and move with intention. More than that, he realized that humans, even when pushed to limits, could find joy in the challenge itself. The crowd erupted with cheers as they executed a synchronized spin over the tallest platform, landing perfectly in unison. Alex's chest swelled with pride, not just for himself, but for the partnership they had formed so quickly. "Nice work," Lyra exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "But now comes the real test." Alex's stomach dropped. "Real test," Lyra nodded. "The arena doesn't just challenge your body, it challenges your heart. You have to trust fully, no hesitation." Suddenly, a section of the arena separated from the rest, floating independently. The music slowed briefly, then surged again with a pulse that shook the platforms. The gap between them widened, and Alex realized that he had to leap without knowing if he'd land safely. I can't do that," he muttered, panic creeping in. "Yes, you can," Lyra said firmly, gripping his hand. "I trust you to jump. You need to trust me too. Humans survive because we take leaps, not just physical ones but leaps of faith. Alex looked at her, her calm determination radiating warmth and strength. He could feel the trust she placed in him, the confidence in human resilience. Slowly, he nodded. "Okay, let's do it." They crouched, muscles tense, and leapt across the gap together. For a heartbeat, the world seemed to freeze. Then they landed safely on the next platform, hearts racing, the crowd roaring with excitement. Alex felt exhilaration surge through him. Not only had he succeeded physically but emotionally, he had embraced fear, trusted another human, and found courage within himself. Lyra grinned, her joy uncontainable. "See, you're getting it," Alex laughed, still catching his breath. "Getting it. I think I'm starting to understand what humans can do when we push ourselves." Lyra's smile softened. "It's more than that. It's about joy, about doing something you never thought possible and feeling alive because of it. Humans aren't just survivors. They create, they adapt, they find happiness even in the toughest situations." The arena continued to test them with new patterns, tiles that rotated unpredictably, walls that shifted, beams of light that required precise timing to pass. But Alex was no longer hesitant. He adjusted to each new challenge, anticipating, reacting, and moving with a fluidity he didn't know he had. Lyra encouraged him at every step, guiding him, yet allowing him to make his own decisions. Together, they formed a rhythm, a synergy that seemed almost instinctive. By the time the final sequence arrived, Alex felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had navigated every obstacle, adapted to every change, and danced not for fame or prize, but for the sheer joy of movement, trust, and human connection. The music slowed, the arena lights dimmed, and the crowd erupted into thunderous applause. Alex and Lyra stood side by side, breathless, smiling, and completely exhilarated. He glanced at her prosthetic leg, marveling at how technology and human determination could blend seamlessly to create something extraordinary. Lyra looked up at him, eyes shining. "I've never felt this alive before," she admitted. "Not just dancing, but trusting, leaping, and sharing this moment. Humans, we're incredible, aren't we?" Alex nodded slowly, awe settling in his chest. "Yeah, we are." For the first time that day, he truly understood the essence of humanity. Not just survival or skill, but resilience, creativity, and the joy of overcoming challenges together. And in that shared triumph, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time, a spark of connection, of inspiration, and a desire to push beyond limits he had never imagined. The crowd's cheers echoed around them, a celebration of human spirit. Alex realized that this wasn't just a festival or a dance. It was a showcase of everything that made humans remarkable. Their ability to adapt, to innovate, and to embrace joy, even in the face of uncertainty. And in that moment, as he looked at Lyra, glowing with excitement and triumph, Alex understood that the dance was only the beginning. The real challenge and the real adventure had just begun. The crowd's applause had barely died down when the arena's lights shifted again, brighter this time, casting long beams across the plaza. Alex wiped sweat from his forehead, feeling the excitement of the last challenge still coursing through him. He looked at Lyra, who was already bouncing lightly on her prosthetic leg, eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Ready?" she asked, voice calm but sharp. Alex swallowed. "I think so, but this looks harder than the last one." Lyra nodded. "It is. The festival organizers call this the human challenge, the final test. It's not just about dance, it's about thinking fast, moving fast, and trusting each other completely." He glanced at the arena. The tiles were no longer just moving. They were forming complex patterns, floating platforms that rotated in multiple directions, walls that rose and fell unpredictably, and beams of light that created invisible obstacles. The music shifted again, a rapid, pulsating rhythm that made his heart beat faster. "Here's the deal," Lyra continued. "We have to move together, predict each shift, and keep our balance. The arena will test everything we've learned, speed, timing, agility, and trust. Alex nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. He had faced dangerous situations before in his life, but nothing quite like this. This was a dance with unpredictability itself, a challenge that required his mind, body, and heart working as one. The floor pulsed beneath them. A voice echoed, "Final round, test of humanity, 2 participants. Dance until the music stops or until failure. Begin." They stepped onto the first platform. The floor rose and fell slightly, adjusting to their weight, and Alex felt a thrill as gravity shifted beneath him. He had learned some tricks from the previous challenge: how to anticipate movement, how to flow with rhythm rather than fight it. But the arena was now far more complicated. Lyra moved first, spinning gracefully across a rotating tile. Her prosthetic leg absorbed the movement perfectly, allowing her to glide as if weightless. Alex tried to match her, leaping from one platform to the next, and for a moment he stumbled. "Focus," she called, reaching her hand. "Predict, don't react." Alex took a deep breath, studying the pattern. Slowly he began to notice the rhythm, the way the platforms rotated, how the walls rose and fell, and the timing of the moving beams. Step by step, he found his balance, adjusting to each shift, leaping in time with Lyra. They moved together seamlessly, their bodies instinctively coordinating. The crowd gasped, cheering louder with every successful maneuver. Alex felt a surge of pride, not just for himself, but for the teamwork they had built so quickly. He had never imagined that dancing could become so much more than simple movement. Suddenly, a section of the arena lifted into the air, forming a narrow bridge of floating tiles. One misstep and a fall would be inevitable. Alex's stomach tightened. "Don't look down," Lyra whispered. "Just trust yourself and trust me." He nodded. Taking a deep breath, he followed her onto the narrow tiles. Each step required precise timing, every muscle engaged. The wind from the arena's anti-gravity system brushed against his face, making the challenge feel even more intense. As they reached the center, a series of spinning beams descended. Alex froze for a fraction of a second, nerves threatening to take over. Lyra grabbed his hand, steadying him. "You can do this," she said, her voice firm yet gentle. "Humans survive by adapting. Remember that, flow with it." He nodded, trust replacing fear. Together they timed their jumps, ducked under spinning beams, and crossed safely. The crowd erupted in applause, some even shouting words of encouragement. Alex felt an overwhelming sense of achievement, but the arena wasn't done. Suddenly, the platforms began shifting faster, moving in unpredictable zigzag patterns. Gravity fluctuated, pulling them down one second and lifting them the next. The music intensified, a chaotic rhythm that tested both their reflexes and focus. "Stay close," Lyra shouted over the sound. "Move as one," Alex adjusted, keeping his body aligned with hers. They moved fluidly, a single entity navigating the chaos. Each successful leap, spin, and landing strengthened their connection, teaching Alex more about human resilience than any pilot's training could. Then came the hardest part. The arena's final obstacle, a series of vertical walls with narrow openings moving in rapid succession. They had to jump, twist, and slide perfectly, or the walls would push them off the platform. Alex's pulse quickened. "Look for the pattern," Lyra said. "Predict. Move. Don't panic." He focused, noticing the rhythm in the wall movements. Step by step, they maneuvered, barely squeezing through the openings. Alex felt his muscles burn, his heart pounding, but he refused to falter. Every leap was an act of trust, not just in himself, but in Lyra and in the human spirit that had taught him to adapt. Halfway through, Alex misjudged a jump and almost fell. Lyra grabbed his arm, steadying him just in time. "I've got you," she said softly, her smile reassuring. "Humans survive together. That's what makes us strong." Her words struck him. He realized that this challenge wasn't just about skill or physical strength. It was about connection, about courage, and about embracing challenges even when the outcome was uncertain. They continued, moving in perfect synchronization, finally reaching the last platform. The music shifted, slowing down, signaling the end. Alex collapsed onto the surface, breathless but exhilarated. Lyra landed beside him, laughing softly, her eyes bright with triumph. "You did it," she said, nudging him playfully. "We did it." Alex shook his head in disbelief. "I can't believe it. I actually did it. We actually did it." She grinned, looking around at the cheering crowd. "Humans can do incredible things when we push ourselves. You just proved it, not just skill, but heart, courage, adaptability. That's what makes us remarkable." Alex felt a swell of pride. He had faced fear, adapted to chaos, and discovered a depth of resilience within himself he hadn't known existed. And more than that, he had done it with someone else, someone who embodied human ingenuity, joy, and determination. The festival organizers approached, clapping and nodding. "Remarkable performance," one of them said. "You've shown what humans are capable of under extreme conditions. Your agility, timing, and spirit are inspiring." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. This wasn't just recognition for a dance, it was recognition for humanity itself. Lyra looked at him, her expression softening. "See, humans aren't just survivors. We innovate, we adapt, and we find joy even in the most challenging moments. That's why I love this, why I dance. Moments like this make us feel alive." Alex smiled, a new understanding dawning. "I think I finally get it. It's not about winning or losing. It's about living fully, trusting yourself, and embracing challenges." She nodded, her eyes sparkling. "Exactly. And today you danced through more than just an arena. You danced through fear, uncertainty, and doubt and came out stronger." For a long moment, they simply stood there, catching their breath, absorbing the applause and the energy of the festival. Alex realized that this experience had changed him. He had always been a pilot, a thinker, a problem solver, but now he understood something deeper. Humans were capable of more than survival. They were capable of joy, connection, courage, and innovation. And standing next to Lyra, he felt the full force of that truth. Humans were extraordinary, not because they were perfect, but because they dared to leap, to adapt, and to trust one another. As the crowd began to disperse, Alex looked at the arena, still pulsing with light and music. "I never thought dancing could be like this," he said quietly. Lyra laughed softly. "Most people don't. But this is humanity at its best. Every challenge, every leap, every moment of trust, it's all part of what makes us human." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of purpose he hadn't known before. "I want to do more," he said. "Not just dance, but everything. Push myself, learn, adapt, be better." Lyra smiled, her expression radiant. "That's the spirit. Humans grow through challenges, and the best part, there's always another one waiting." For the first time that day, Alex felt completely alive. He had danced, trusted, and discovered human potential not just in others, but in himself. And as they walked away from the arena, the glow of the lights reflecting in their eyes, he knew this was only the beginning. The real adventure, the real challenge, was yet to come, and he was ready. The plaza had quieted after the intense final round of the dance arena. Neon lights flickered softly, painting the plaza in hues of purple and gold. The crowd had begun to disperse, but a small group lingered near the floating platforms, murmuring excitedly. Alex and Lyra stood together, still catching their breath. Alex wiped sweat from his brow and looked around. "That was unbelievable," he said quietly. "I didn't know humans could do something like that." Lyra smiled, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face. "You mean humans like us," she said. "Humans who refuse to give up, who adapt, and who find joy in the most challenging moments." Alex nodded, but he couldn't shake a lingering curiosity. All day, he had been amazed by Lyra's skill, her balance, and the effortless way she moved, despite her prosthetic leg. He had assumed it was a combination of training and talent, but now he sensed there was more. "Lyra," he began cautiously, "I have to ask, your leg, it moves so perfectly. More than I expected. Is it special? Lyra's eyes lit up, a mixture of pride and excitement. Yes, she admitted. It's experimental. I volunteered to test it. Engineers designed it to enhance movement, reflexes, and stability. It's part of a project to push human potential. Alex raised his eyebrows. Experimental. You mean you were dancing on technology no one else has tried yet? Lyra nodded. Exactly. That's why I wanted to challenge you. I didn't want anyone to treat me differently because of it. I wanted to dance, just like any human would, and see if we could connect through movement. Alex felt a mix of awe and admiration. Humans were extraordinary. Even when faced with limitations or uncertainty, they invented, adapted, and thrived. Lyra wasn't just dancing, she was demonstrating the pinnacle of human innovation, courage, and spirit. So, all of this, he said, gesturing to the arena, was about more than dancing. She smiled softly. Yes, dancing is just the surface. It's about trust, courage, resilience, and the joy of discovering what humans can do when we push ourselves. My leg is a symbol of that, technology helping humans achieve what seemed impossible. Alex looked down at her prosthetic. He had seen advanced tech before, but nothing like this. It wasn't just functional, it was integrated with her body in a way that enhanced her natural abilities. The thought made him shiver with admiration. Humans didn't just survive, they improved themselves, creating tools to surpass limits. I had no idea, he admitted. I thought I was just having fun, but this is incredible. Lyra reached out and tapped his shoulder lightly. And you did amazing too. You adapted faster than most. That's the beauty of humans. We rise to the occasion even when we don't think we can. As they spoke, a group of festival organizers approached. One of them, an older woman with silver-streaked hair and sharp eyes, smiled warmly at them. Lyra, Alex, your performance was remarkable, not just technically but emotionally. The way you moved together, adapted to the arena, and maintained trust, it was inspiring. You've shown what humans are capable of. Alex felt a swell of pride. This wasn't just recognition for dancing. It was recognition for the human spirit. The organizer continued, turning to Lyra. And you, Lyra, for volunteering with the experimental prosthetic, your courage and ingenuity highlight human potential. The engineers will be thrilled with your feedback. You're helping redefine what it means to move, to adapt, and to grow. Lyra's smile widened, but her eyes reflected humility. Thank you, she said softly. But this isn't about me. It's about humans as a whole. Anyone could rise to these challenges with courage and determination. Alex felt something stir in him, a deep respect, not just for Lyra but for humanity itself. Humans didn't just survive adversity, they turned it into opportunity. They adapted, they created, and they celebrated each other's achievements. As they walked away from the arena, Alex couldn't help but ask, so, what happens now? After this experiment, the festival, all of this, Lyra looked thoughtful. Now we share it. Humans need to see what's possible. This leg, this arena, the challenges, they're all tools to show that limits exist only until we push past them. We inspire, we innovate, and we grow together. Alex nodded slowly, absorbing her words. I get it. It's about connection and progress and joy. She smiled, her eyes glowing in the fading lights. Exactly. Joy is important. Without it, adaptation and progress feel empty. But when humans embrace happiness, even in tough moments, that's when we truly shine. They paused at the edge of the plaza. The city stretched before them, a maze of glowing streets, floating platforms, and bustling markets. Alex felt a sense of wonder. Humans had colonized this planet, built technology that defied expectation, and now, through something as simple as dance, they were inspiring one another. Humans really are incredible, he said quietly. Lyra laughed softly. We are, and today you've seen it firsthand. The arena, my leg, the music, it's all about discovering what's possible when we trust ourselves and each other. Alex smiled, thinking about the day. He had faced fear, adapted to chaos, and discovered courage he hadn't known existed. He had seen joy in its purest form, shared through movement and connection. And he had learned a truth he would never forget. Humans didn't just survive, they thrived, adapted, and lifted each other higher. The plaza lights began to dim, signaling the end of the festival. Vendors started packing up and performers moved on to their next stages. Alex and Lyra lingered, savoring the quiet moments after the chaos. "Alex," Lyra said, breaking the silence, "I want to thank you. Dancing with you, trusting you, it made me feel more alive than ever. I've never been this happy before, not just because of the dance, but because of the connection we shared. Humans aren't just physical beings, we're emotional, innovative, and brave. Today reminded me of that." Alex looked at her, feeling a warmth in his chest. "Lyra, I feel the same way. Today I've seen what humans are capable of, not just in strength or skill, but in courage, joy, and trust. I've never experienced anything like this before." They smiled at each other, a quiet understanding passing between them. Humans had the power to transform, to innovate, and to inspire. And in that moment they were living proof of it. As they walked together toward the edge of the plaza, the city lights reflecting off their faces, Alex felt a new determination. This wasn't just about dancing or technology. It was about embracing challenges, pushing beyond limits, and celebrating human potential. He realized that life, much like the arena, was full of unexpected obstacles and opportunities. And just like in the dance, success required trust, courage, and adaptability. Lyra glanced at him, her expression softening. "So, are you ready for the next challenge?" Alex laughed, a light, unburdened sound. "I think I am. If humans can do this, then I'm ready for anything." She smiled, linking her arm with his. "Good, because humanity never stops challenging itself, and neither should we." As they moved through the plaza, Alex felt a spark of excitement. Today had been more than a dance. It had been a lesson in resilience, ingenuity, and the power of human connection. He had faced fear, adapted, and discovered courage within himself he hadn't known existed. And he had done it alongside someone who embodied everything remarkable about humanity: creativity, determination, and joy. The night air was cool, carrying the faint hum of the city and the distant echoes of festival music. Alex felt alive in a way he hadn't felt in years, energized not just by movement, but by the realization of what humans could achieve together. Lyra glanced at the horizon, where the first stars of the night twinkled above the city. "Look at that," she said softly. "Humans built all of this, all of it. We can do incredible things when we push ourselves." Alex nodded, eyes reflecting the starry sky. "And today I've seen it firsthand. We're capable of more than we think. We just have to try, trust, and never give up." She smiled, squeezing his hand gently. "Exactly. And remember, the best adventures are the ones that challenge us the most. Humans thrive under challenge. That's why we are extraordinary." Alex felt a quiet awe. Humans weren't perfect, but they were resilient, creative, and capable of joy even in the face of uncertainty. And Lyra, with her courage, skill, and spirit, was living proof of that truth. As they walked back toward the city center, Alex felt a new determination. He didn't just want to survive, he wanted to thrive. He wanted to explore, create, and push beyond limits. And he wanted to do it alongside humans like Lyra, who embodied the very best of what humanity could be. The night stretched before them, full of possibilities, challenges, and discoveries. And Alex knew, deep in his heart, that humanity's greatest adventures were still ahead. For now, though, he would savor this moment, this revelation. The knowledge that humans were remarkable, capable of adaptation, courage, and joy. And that even in the face of uncertainty, they could rise, inspire, and shine. And in that shared understanding, he and Lyra walked together, two humans celebrating the extraordinary potential within themselves and their species. The next morning, the city of New Avalon glimmered under the soft light of its twin suns. The festival had left a lingering buzz in the air, as if the excitement of the previous day had seeped into every street, every floating platform, every building. Alex woke early, stretching and feeling the lingering ache in his muscles, a reminder of the intense dance challenges he had faced. But this ache was different from fatigue. It was a badge of experience, proof that he had grown, adapted, and overcome. Lyra met him at the plaza, her prosthetic leg moving gracefully as ever. Her eyes sparkled with determination and excitement. "Ready for today?" she asked, a teasing lilt in her voice. Alex smiled. "Ready as I'll ever be. I've learned more about humans and myself than I ever thought I would." Lyra nodded. "Good, because today isn't just about dancing or challenges. Today, it's about showing the rest of the colony what humans can really do." Alex glanced around the plaza. Word had spread about their performance in the dance arena. Small groups of people were already gathering, eager to see what would happen next. Children perched on floating benches, eyes wide with anticipation. Elder engineers and festival organizers whispered excitedly to one another. The energy was palpable. The festival coordinator, the older woman with silver-streaked hair, approached them with a smile. "Alex, Lyra, we've decided to feature your performance for the closing ceremony," she said. "But not just as a dance. We want to showcase human adaptability, resilience, and ingenuity. Will you participate?" Lyra's eyes lit up. "Absolutely." Alex hesitated for a moment, thinking about the challenges ahead. The closing ceremony would combine not just dance but also technology demonstrations and improvisational tests, requiring them to adapt, react, and inspire at the same time. He could feel the weight of the expectation. But then he looked at Lyra, her confidence and joy radiating like a beacon, and he realized that fear had no place here. "Let's do it," he said finally, determination in his voice. The arena was rebuilt for the final performance, larger and more complex than before. Floating platforms moved in intricate patterns, and holographic projections displayed visualizations of human potential. Graphs, data points, and glowing representations of agility, strength, and innovation. It was a fusion of art and science, a celebration of what humanity could achieve. The music began, a stirring, uplifting composition, part electronic, part orchestral. Alex felt it resonate in his chest, the rhythm syncing with the pulse of the city and the collective excitement of the crowd. Lyra took his hand. "Remember what we learned. Trust, flow, adapt. Humans thrive under challenge, and above all, enjoy it." Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. They stepped onto the first platform and the arena responded. Anti-gravity tiles lifted them gently while the platforms shifted in complex patterns. He felt the thrill of motion, the rush of coordination, the electricity of possibility. They moved together flawlessly at first, spinning and leaping, anticipating every change. The crowd erupted in cheers, witnessing not just skill but the embodiment of human potential. Alex realized that every step, every jump, every twist was a statement. Humans could adapt, innovate, and excel beyond expectation. Then came the first unexpected obstacle, a series of floating barriers that rotated unpredictably. Alex hesitated for a split second, but Lyra's hand steadied him. "Trust yourself. Trust me," she whispered. He focused, studying the rhythm of the barriers. Step by step, he moved, adjusting midair, sliding past obstacles, landing safely on the next platform. Each movement was precise, intentional, and human. They were no longer just dancing. They were demonstrating the very essence of human capability. The arena escalated, introducing a sequence of rotating beams, moving walls, and tilting platforms. Alex could feel the adrenaline surging through his veins. Every challenge tested his balance, timing, and reflexes, but he had learned something crucial from the previous days. Humans adapted. They observed patterns, improvised solutions, and relied on both skill and intuition. Lyra's guidance was steady but encouraging. "You're doing it, flow with it. Humans survive and thrive by pushing beyond what they think is possible. Alex smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. He was not just surviving, he was thriving. He moved with precision, anticipating shifts, leaping from one platform to the next, matching Lyra's rhythm perfectly. The crowd cheered louder with each successful maneuver, inspired by the harmony and courage on display. Suddenly, a holographic panel rose, displaying real-time analytics of their performance, reaction times, precision, and adaptability scores. Alex glanced at the numbers and felt awe. Humans had created tools to measure their own growth, to quantify improvement, and to celebrate progress. This wasn't just performance, it was a testament to ingenuity, determination, and potential. The music swelled. Alex and Lyra reached the central platform, the most complex part of the arena. Multiple tiles rotated simultaneously, while walls shifted unpredictably. Anti-gravity fields fluctuated, lifting and lowering their weight at random intervals. It was chaos, but it was the kind of chaos humans thrived on. Alex glanced at Lyra. She smiled, her eyes filled with calm determination. "We've got this. Remember, humans rise to challenges." He nodded, focusing fully. They moved together, anticipating each shift, adjusting their balance and adapting instinctively. Each jump, twist, and landing demonstrated human ingenuity, the ability to survive, adapt, and overcome even in the most chaotic environments. At the final moment, the arena introduced a surprise, a wide gap between platforms, too far to leap in a single bound. Alex froze, uncertainty flickering through his mind. Lyra reached for his hand. "Jump together, trust in yourself, trust in me." Humans overcome the impossible when we take leaps, literal and figurative. Alex felt a rush of courage. He had faced fear, uncertainty, and unpredictability before and survived. He knew humans could do remarkable things when they trusted themselves. He nodded. "Let's go." They crouched, muscles coiled, and leapt across the gap. For a heartbeat, time seemed to freeze. Then they landed perfectly on the next platform. The crowd erupted in wild cheers, applause echoing across the plaza. Alex felt exhilaration surge through him. They had not just survived, they had conquered. Lyra laughed, her joy infectious. "See, humans are extraordinary. We adapt, we innovate, we thrive, and we find happiness even in the toughest challenges." Alex nodded, a sense of pride and awe settling in his chest. "I see it now. Humans aren't just survivors, they're creators, innovators, and explorers. And today we've shown it." The arena lights dimmed, signaling the conclusion. Holographic displays highlighted their scores, showing perfect coordination, adaptability, and innovation. Festival organizers approached, clapping and smiling. "You've done more than impress us," the coordinator said warmly. "You've shown the very best of humanity. Courage, ingenuity, joy, and resilience, all embodied in a single performance. You've inspired everyone here today." Alex felt a profound sense of accomplishment. This wasn't just about a dance or an arena, it was about humanity itself. Humans could push boundaries, innovate, and overcome challenges, lifting each other higher in the process. Lyra smiled, her eyes softening. "I've never been this happy before," she admitted quietly. "Not just from the dance, but from sharing this experience with you. Humans thrive when we connect, adapt, and embrace joy." Alex looked at her, feeling the truth in her words. "I feel the same way. Today, I've seen what humans can achieve when they trust, push themselves, and celebrate life. And I've learned that we can be extraordinary together." As the crowd continued to cheer, Alex and Lyra walked to the edge of the plaza. The city stretched before them, glowing with lights, floating platforms, and signs of human innovation. Alex realized that this performance was more than a show, it was a message. Humans could create, adapt, and inspire. They could face challenges with courage, find joy in adversity, and lift each other higher than anyone imagined. Lyra glanced at him, her smile radiant. "So, what now?" Alex smiled back. "Now we keep going. We take what we've learned, the courage, the adaptability, the joy, and we apply it. Humans don't stop. We innovate, explore, and grow, she nodded. Exactly. And together we can inspire even more people. Show them what's possible. That's the real adventure. Alex felt a surge of determination. Humans had faced challenges, explored the stars, and built civilizations. They had adapted, invented, and thrived. And he had seen it firsthand in Lyra, in himself, and in the collective spirit of humanity displayed in that arena. The city hummed around them, alive with potential. Alex and Lyra walked side by side, their steps synchronized, reflecting the harmony and capability of humanity. They were not just dancers, they were symbols of human courage, ingenuity, and joy. As the suns dipped lower, casting golden light across the plaza, Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Humans weren't perfect, but they were extraordinary. They created, adapted, trusted, and celebrated. And above all, they found joy in connection, challenge, and discovery. Lyra squeezed his hand gently. Humans rise to every challenge, she said softly. And today we proved it again. Alex nodded, feeling the truth of her words in his heart. Yes, we did, and we'll keep proving it every day. Together, they turned toward the horizon, ready for whatever adventures awaited. The city, the stars, and the limitless potential of humanity stretched before them. And in that moment, Alex understood a profound truth. Humans thrived not because they avoided challenges, but because they faced them with courage, ingenuity, and joy. And that, he realized, was the greatest triumph of all.